What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Morning Brew podcast. I'm your host, Kayla, and I'm interviewing creatives every other week to bring you the authentic experience behind their art. Today, I'm super excited because I am welcoming back to the podcast one of my favorite bands, Atta Boy. But before we get started, make sure that you're following the Morning Brew podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Instagram, and YouTube so that you don't miss any uploads or any of the cool things that we have coming up soon. So, without further ado, I hope you will welcome to the studio Freddy, Dashel, and Eden. Welcome back, Freddy and Dash. And Eden, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you guys here. Starting off with a fun question, because I can. If you had to switch instruments with anyone in the band, but for a whole show, who would you switch with and why?
That you would be able to do, or that you would like dream of? Like, do you have to be good at, would you be able to take it on for a show, or would it be a disaster?
Like if tomorrow you had to switch with somebody for a whole show with no training.
I would switch with Lewis just for the chaos.
You could absolutely do that.
Yeah, I think that would have to be just tactically. If we were to do like this strategically, it would have to be that, because Eden and I think, probably couldn't cover the drums. I don't think we could make it happen.
I would honestly say bass, because I feel like I could. I don't know what I'm talking about. I couldn't do that, but I think I would feel most comfortable doing that, because even though it would seem like keys would be the most natural option, I feel too intimidated to do your parts. I feel less intimidated to do like a really shitty bass part on all the songs, even though Jason's like the best bassist I know. Anyway, yeah.
I was thinking guitar, just because that is the instrument after keyboard that I can actually play at all. Not well enough to do any of Freddie's parts. I could maybe do some rhythm, but oh man, the lead parts would be a mess. It'd be fun. Let's do it, guys.
Yeah.
And so then by default, we're letting Lewis sing. Is this what I'm...
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Well, so Freddy and Dash, you guys teased this last time, but let's talk about Silt, because I'm so excited. And from what's already out, the album feels very emotionally raw and very natural and grounded. I was wondering if you guys could tell me about the inspiration behind this album.
I mean, it's a lot of things. So I feel like, I don't know, as not the primary lyricist, it's harder for me to answer. But I feel like it usually starts with like a song or two, and it kind of sets the tone of the album. And Eden, I think the first two songs we heard were Full Cloud and Silt, or First Street Bridge. I can't remember which of those three were the first couple that we heard. And is immediately like, oh, this is gonna be, we're in a mood right now. Like things aren't going like, I don't really know how to describe it. Also, like, everyone's frozen for me right now, so I can't tell like what's going on.
We can see you.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can see you okay.
Okay. So I don't know if anyone wants to take over from where I left
I can take over. I mean, I think it makes sense what he's saying, that like it ends up sort of finding its way. I feel like a lot of inspiration sort of ends up coming in the process of just like finding the songs. You start to sort of look at this whole like arc of music that you have and go, oh, it kind of reminds me of this and this and that, and there's a little bit of that in there, and here are the through line themes. I think that a lot of it kind of ends up being about like transition. I don't know, there's a lot of like, I think, themes of like little deaths that you go through sort of throughout your life transitions.
That makes
sense. And like rebirths and things becoming really cloudy and then clarifying and having to kind of like sit in the discomfort of being in the cloudiness while you wait for the clarity. So I think there ends up being kind of a lot of that, but like definitely I think a lot of the sort of like natural elements that were inspiring for the record were like, you know, dirt, breaks, yeah, water. I don't know. It's just it's like a whole bunch of things that kind of float around. But yeah.
And
Yeah, I
then
love
as
the
far as-
nature aesthetic.
yeah, there's like lots of nature themes. And as far as like the sound of the album goes, like before each album, I think we started doing this with Big Heart Manners. We create like a inspo playlist and send it to each other and kind of like fill it in individually. So we grab a lot of inspiration from that. And during the production of it, like we don't like necessarily put songs in that apply to specific songs, but as the recording process is going on, we're like, oh, this idea from this song or this sound from this song would work really well with where this song is going. And so it's like a really nice way of having that idea beforehand instead of just kind of like being, what do we do next?
It's so good, and I really love the cow that was in the visualizer. It's super cute. You guys in the video for El Mama, which by the way is incredible, you talk about oak trees as like a steady and strong figure in your life. Who is the oak tree for each of you?
Should have known it was coming back to us. We posed that question out to listeners, and we're like, "Oh, isn't it a beautiful thing?" And the discussion that happened on social media was so sweet, and it was so lovely to like have people talk about the figures in their lives, and obviously even the like songwriter of "Oh Mama" has it as her mother as being the oak tree, but to see other people's responses about, you know, maybe it's not a family member, and found families, it's an important thing, and we love being able to lift that up. So for myself, I of course was kind of stalling there, hoping I would come up with an answer as I was talking. I don't think I have one right out at the gate, but I think for me it is my biological family. I think they are or have been the oak tree for me in being the steady place of support. I'm really lucky that my parents and my sibling are all these figures in my life that I can lean on for that kind of support, especially when it comes to this endeavor of Atta Boy. They've always been huge supporters, and in moments when, especially in the last couple of years, I've gone from having like a full-time job to not having that full-time job anymore. That was a scary kind of leap of faith moment, but all of them being there for me to say, no, do this thing, you're on the right path, and like keep doing that, makes that so much easier when you have that support.
I think for me, it's, you know, I have different oak trees for different aspects of my life. I feel like as far as just like core support, my parents are, like Dashel said, are incredibly supportive. They were the ones who like really told me to pursue music, and like I wanted to go to like veterinary school, and I didn't know and then that didn't work out, and I didn't know what I was doing with my life. And all of a sudden I wake up with the pamphlet for Berklee College of Music under my bedroom door, and my mom being like, this is like your calling, you should pursue this, don't don't question it. And then I really want to give a shout out to Jason, who's recorded our first 3 albums and played bass on all 4 albums, for always answering any question I have about like recording and production and just like talking about music in general. And he's been so supportive of me and trying to make it as a recording engineer, and I really appreciate him.
Yeah, I think I mean I wrote the song for my mom, but I wrote the song for the place where I grew up, that was shown to me so much by my mom, by my family, you know, by both my mom and my dad. But my mom seemed to have a like connection to that place up in Paso Robles. that just always felt like the two were very connected. And I think I end up finding a lot of comfort in the nature in California, everywhere, but like especially those like coastal oak trees in California. They're just like the most unbelievable things. I remember being a kid and being like, I don't understand what you're looking at. Like, I get it, it's big, it's a big tree. And she just would always just like revel in this, like, she just had this reverence for like the age of these massive oak trees and these like old growths in California. And I started to like understand it at a certain point, and I think it connected me to her more, and it connected me to the place more. And I think it's a good reminder too that like if you look around, like there's always a cool ecosystem to look at wherever you are. Like you can never really be lonely if you take a little look around you and get a little curious about like the weeds coming out of the sidewalk, or like what's that flower over there, what's that tree. And I think finding like comfort and familiarity, and like I don't know, it sounds a little cheesy, but yeah, it's my mom though. It's my mom, and it's the nature that she showed me growing up.
That's sweet that it's not just your mom, but it's also this thing that you guys share and like a core memory. I think that's really sweet.
Yeah, definitely.
Mine's probably all my parents.
Yeah. I also just wanted like Eden's mom for the band. Like when we're recording, she'll show up with like snacks and food. And like all of our parents have been so supportive of this endeavor. And like, I just being able to like thank all of our parents and Eden's mom for all of the special dips she would make and bring us, and the support and just the love and the pride they have in us is so meaningful. And
yeah,
being able to express it through a song meant a lot.
Oh, that's so nice. And Freddie, the video that you did for Full Cloud, I told you it feels like home. What was your thought process? Like, what was going through your head when you were either coming up with the idea for the video or like when you were shooting it?
So, I mean, I never thought it would be. I had this handheld Sony camcorder since the beginning of Atta Boy, and I've just been like, oh, I'll just film some stuff. And we've had friends and Eden's husband Cam come along and just, hold the camera while we're doing stuff. And I'm like, we don't have a music video for Full Cloud, and we don't have a huge budget for another music video. So I was like, all of these like moments of us growing up together are like an important part of the band, and like putting it together in a video and being able to share that was really fun and emotional to do. I mean, like I pitched it to the band and was like, can I take a stab at throwing all these clips together? And like, I have a pretty good idea of how I want to edit it and cut it. And I sent it to them, and, they asked for like one edit or like 2 clips to be changed, and everyone was really happy with it. It was just really fun for us to watch, and hopefully it was fun for everyone else to watch too, to see us grow up together as a band and friends.
It totally was. But I have to tell you a secret though, except I guess it won't be a secret anymore. It took me 1 minute and 53 seconds to realize that was Dash at the beginning of the because the no beard, the no glasses, I was like, oh, that's so cute. They're like filming with all their friends. And then I was like, wait. And then on the third rewatch, I was like, wait. I get the idea. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm just dumb.
No, you're not the only person to have said this thing. So as you started saying that, I was like, oh, I know where she's going with this. Yes, it is a dramatic transformation. I'm still like under the beard. It's still the same guy, but no, it's very true. It's a big change for sure.
He's had a major glow up.
Big time glow up.
Absolutely gorgeous man. It's so funny to see that footage again, and Freddie did such a good job like putting it together in a way that felt really sweet and nostalgic, and not like, oh God, why are we putting those up? Like, I think if it had been like 5, 6, 7 years ago, we would have been a little bit more like, I don't want to really go back to that time, but it's a really like sweet homage to like the friendship and the longevity of this project. And yeah, Freddie did an awesome job with it.
And we definitely didn't know in 2011, 2012, when the earliest footage was from. Like, how could we possibly have known we'd be using that stuff for a music video now? That part kind of boggles my mind. Like, we had no idea what we possibly could have been using that for, let alone something, 15 years later. Holy cow. It's so funny. And it's so cool. And Freddie, like you guys said, Freddie did such a great job. And, yeah, glad that we could like put something so cool together.
Yeah, you nailed it, Freddie. It made me nostalgic for memories that I don't have.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, so by the time this episode drops, it'll come out like a couple days after the album does. What song off the album that isn't out yet are you very excited for people to hear?
I would say First Street Bridge. I think it's just such a like, I think it's gonna be a little bit like jarring. I think like there's a few songs on the record that will feel a little bit jarring, but I think just because where it came from to where it ended up, and just getting to kind of sonically explore like what a little bit of a harsher sound is, but in the context of Atta Boy is really kind of fun. And yeah, I just that was a lot of fun to do that song. I'm excited for people to hear that one. I don't know if they'll like it though, but that's okay. I'm okay with that.
And since this is coming out after the album, that post that we had on Instagram that was like Eden saying like, what happened to Atta Boy? Like, we were having fun on a road trip and now I'm sitting alone in my room having an existential crisis. It's like kind of about those songs that we took a little bit of a big swing on the aggressiveness of them. And I'm excited for people to hear those, which is kind of a 180 from my answer, which is Pale Blue Sky. Eden has talked about it within the band and how she just loves singing along to that song. And it's just a lot of fun textures that we messed around with. Keenan O'Mara playing lap steel on it, adding some really cool things, and Dashel like playing this piano that has none of the dry signal and is just fully reverb that kind of creates this like floating down a lazy river vibe. It was really hard to complete the song, but it was really rewarding once the song was done. And I'm really excited for people to get that.
I have 2 votes. I'm going to talk about Silt, title track Silt, because when you choose a song as the title, like when you make a song a title track, I feel like that definitely builds up some expectations around it. But I do think that this song does a really good job of living up to it and like delivering the thing that is sort of fundamental to the record itself. A lot of this like stuff about nature and about like Eden talked about cycles and about ebb and flow, about like a moment of cloud, like something obscuring your vision or your way in general, and then the moment of clarity that comes after it. But on top of that, also the music that we put on that song was a lot of fun. It was we went a lot of back and forth, especially about the piano in that song. We had a lot of a lot of communication back and forth. Freddie and I were in LA. I flew back out to LA to do some overdubs, and we had Eden on the phone in New York trying to figure out, because she had this like vision of what this specific piano part was. So we would record a take, send it to Eden. She'd listen to it and be like, no, the timing's actually not quite right in that part. Like, it's like this. And she would sing it to us. We'd be like, oh, okay, we'll try it again. And that's just such a fun little funny thing. Like, I think about that all the time, about how like this album had a lot of that actually, where one of us would have this really strong conviction about like this moment on this song needs to be this way. And getting the time, having the time and the space to actually execute on those things, I think is something that makes this record stand out for me. we didn't have that before. Like we'd be in the recording studio for like maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks if we were lucky, and that was it. That was time to learn the song, finish writing the songs in a lot of cases, record it, do overdubs, mix some of it, and like that was it. We were out. The fact that this is recorded over 2 years instead of 2 weeks gave us this time to like think about it and say, this is actually the direction I want to go in, or actually we tried this direction, it's not working. Let's double back. Let's go somewhere new. Having the room to do all that stuff was so rewarding. I think the songs are so much better for it, and so actually like is a good example, I think, of the way that process worked out.
That's cool. Is the cover art another Lewis original?
Yes.
Not a Lewis original.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's similar to Dash, how you were saying you pick the title track. How do you decide what's going to be the cover art for your album?
That's a really good. Can I take that one?
Yeah.
That's a good question, because Lewis had started to just kind of make a whole bunch of stuff based on I think just sort of what was in his mind, based like with sort of visual inspiration for the record, and then stuff that I had sent him that was inspiration, and so much stuff ended up coming out of it. I mean, there was like such a beautiful variety of like artwork that he had to choose from. It was incredibly hard to choose. And I think we all kind of had our favorites, but ultimately it's always kind of interesting, I think, to all of us to end up giving Lewis the ultimate decision and seeing like what he's really drawn to visually out of what he's made. And I think it was interesting, and he commented on this in a different interview, but he ended up being really drawn to like the absolute sort of simplest visual that he had made, which is just the silhouettes of the telephone poles. And he was explaining it. I'm gonna like butcher the way that he was saying this, but he was sort of explaining it in a way where like you have the opportunity when you're looking at the album art to sort of like fill in that space yourself. And I think there's something really beautiful about that. And also it feels kind of consistent with the last few records, like, and the first record. It feels consistent with the records where it's like there's something happening. There's this one really sort of important visual that your eye is drawn to, and then a lot of blank space around it where you're kind of getting to like fill in the space with the stories in the song, in the songs on the record. And I think that there's something really cool about him having sort of stuck with that. But yeah, it was really hard to choose on this one because he came up with like such neat and different stuff. And I think he was really drawn to this idea of telephone poles, which sort of ended up being a really sweet, like, I guess homage. Homage is not really the right word, but like a little staple for the fact that so much of how we recorded this record was remote and over the phone and over this like modern technology that we have to communicate different ideas and be able to, like Dash was saying, you know, get on the phone and try to explain an idea and then record it and then hear the recording and then give notes and then do it again. And like just getting to remember all of that communication too, and the ideas that like were exciting that came up, and remembering where I was when I was on the phone with them. Like there's something so cool about the simplicity of those telephone lines having like being loaded with all that for us, I think. So that was long-winded, but like I it's such cool art, and I love that he chose that one.
It's so interesting that you say that about like filling in the gaps, because there are these telephone poles at the end of a loop where I go and do long runs on the weekends, and there's a wildflower area like right at the base of it. And so whenever I'm like thinking of nature or I'm listening to the songs on this album, I kind of think of that. And those, you know, telephone poles are always in the background of the photos I take of the wildflowers. So I'm already kind of filling it in with my own little examples of things like that.
Yeah, totally. I love that.
you guys are about to go on tour soon. What are you most excited about?
I'm really looking forward to playing these songs live. I know that's kind of an obvious answer, but we've not played these songs together in like a year and a half or whatever it is. And so getting to play them together is going to be a lot of fun. Getting to kind of also reimagine them for the live setting is really exciting because, as we've talked about, these weren't really recorded live in the way that we traditionally have recorded our songs in the past. We obviously were all together to do recording in January of last year, 2025. But those recordings were always intended to be, well, initially, I guess, intended to be demos. And they kind of then became the platform on which we built the record. And so those recordings and what you hear on the record are pretty different. And so I'm excited to find kind of the middle between those two of like, what are we going to play live? We haven't figured it out yet. And so I'm really excited to see the way that that develops, the way that we end up almost doing covers of our own songs to make these things work live, because obviously there's a lot of textural stuff that, you know, we're not going and playing these shows with huge setups, and I think we like that. I won't speak for the whole band, but I know I like the way that we play live, and so we're not trying to bring in a bunch of like, you know, weird. We don't really want to play to a track, I think, is kind of the biggest thing. So, anyways, this is all a long way of saying I'm really excited to figure out and for people to hear these songs live, and I'm curious to see what people think of the songs as well. It's always interesting to get to know what listeners feel about certain songs, and playing live is kind of, I think, the fastest and easiest way to find out.
Yeah, I think so. This is the first album where Eden's playing guitar on like every song. So it freed up a lot of space for me to like lean in to being a lead guitarist, which we haven't done. Like I've had to figure that out with older songs playing live, and like this time it's just kind of like baked into the songs, and Eden freaking killed it. And so it's just I'm excited to like be a lead guitarist, I guess, which like which like I mean, like growing up I was always like in the bands. I was like rhythm guitar, or in high school they made me switch to bass because every guy wanted to play guitar. So like I'm excited to, you know, like Dash said, play these shows and you know, have like dedicated parts on each song. And then also Dashel and I work the merch booth, and Eden comes to the merch booth after the shows, and so does Lewis. And it's just fun to talk to people and see what they think and what the songs mean to them. Because we know what the songs mean to us, and it's always a real pleasure to hear different interpretations of music.
Yeah, I think like just sort of similarly, I like, well, kind of a version of what Dash was saying. I'm excited to find out how these songs play live. It's sort of a little mini tour. I think we're hoping to get on the road at some point later to do some markets that we either haven't done or haven't hit in a while, but it sort of feels like a trial run. And truth be told, I'm really excited. As strange as it sounds, I'm excited to kind of edit. I'm excited to edit or build on and learn from what these shows end up giving us. I think we got so much from our first couple of times going out, and how to improve upon or elevate songs that we were coming back to after a long time for like following tours. And there's something really fun about that like you can keep the integrity of a song and like and strengthen it at the same time. And I think that there's something exciting about like getting to find out what that's going to be with these songs, how we're going to start, and then how we're going to end up trying to like boost them based on what we've learned from playing them. I wish we had a little bit more of an opportunity to do that with a few more shows, but I think that this will be a good start for sure.
I'm excited for you guys. I can't wait to hear the album and see how the tour goes. And if you ever want to come to Austin, I know a lot of people that would probably come out and see you guys. And also I want to get my album signed.
We've been like, there's been an unhealthy amount of like neglecting Texas for us, and it makes me sad every time I see a comment being like, "Why haven't you come to Texas?" I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, I would love to come to Austin one day. I love Austin.
Yes, as you should. I know the cool venues that are not trashy. So, Eden, I do a segment at the end called Artists Ask Artists, where my past guest has a question for you, and then you guys get to ask a question for my next guest. I believe last time Freddie and Dash asked a question about frogs, I think. Um, Anyway, so my last guest was Nigel Powell from the band Unbelievable Truth, and he would like to ask you guys, how do you feel about using AI to create music, and how do you think it will change the music scene in the next 5 years?
Oh, easy answer. Can I say this on behalf of the band?
Go for it.
Um, uh, we despise it.
Fuck
Uh,
yeah.
and I think it's well, someone in the media recent. Who was it? Might have been like, if you're using AI to create music, you're not a musician. Like, I, I, I'm getting angry the more I'm thinking about this question. So I'm trying to like, yeah. So I'm trying to. I mean, I'm allowed to be angry about it, but this is also your show, and I want it to be helpful.
Oh, I'm in the same boat, so go for
Okay.
it.
I love that people in communities are going to their local government and telling them they don't want data centers, and I think more and more people should be doing that. And um, I don't know where it's going to be in the next 5 years. I'm not super positive about it, but I believe that the more people speak up against it, the better the future can be. And no more AI slop, please,
Please.
everyone.
I had somebody in my life that sent me a song that they had created on AI with their lyrics, but it was like they fed their lyrics into it and sort of said what type of song they wanted, and they sent it to me, I think, thinking like, this is I know AI sucks, but I just wanted to show you what I wanted, a jumping off point. And you're like, they're so, I couldn't respond because I didn't know how to explain like how sad it is to lose like the beauty of the process that is trying to find a song, even if you're bad at melody, instrument, singing. Like, being bad at it is part of the way that I think like songwriting heals people, is like getting through that shit show in your mind of whatever blocks there are, and getting to a point where you make something that, even if you hate it at first, is finished and you feel proud for finishing, because like that's the jumping off point. You know, you can always go back and fix it and get better and do that, but like I think that that's such a valuable process that is unfortunately, you know, taken away somewhat by AI. And I understand the like ease of use for people and the ease of like commodifying that. And I also think it's like I think it's like robbing people of their ability to like utilize their imagination and brains to create something.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you guys. It's really sad to see people stop picking up like an instrument or a paintbrush or a pen and, you know, just use their brain as little as possible. It's really sad.
We asked about frogs, and someone asked us that.
Yeah, no, it switches. It switches up. Some of the questions are serious, and then someone asked like, "Are shrimps bugs?" And I'm like, I don't even know where to start with that. But
Shrimps is bugs.
Which is
Bugs.
bugs, yeah.
get my high cap on that.
Okay, well, so you guys get to ask a question for my next guest, which I believe is going to be the band Mac Saturn.
I've been thinking about this basically since the last time we
Really?
talked. Because I feel like we panicked. Freddie and I panicked, and we're like, I have no idea what we
I
possibly
sprung it
could
on you.
ask.
That's my fault.
No, we didn't do our homework. That's on us. But I have been thinking about it since then, and I feel like I probably have a really long list, and now I have to like decide from all these choices. The one I've been thinking about the most is like, what is the music experience that stands out most to you? And I kind of had in mind concert, like a show that you went to that was really like meaningful, but it doesn't have to be that. It could be like an experience of learning or playing with somebody, anything like that.
That's a good one.
That is a good
Thanks.
one. I love that.
All right. We'll go with that one for sure then. Okay. And then last but not least, shameless self-promo. You guys know the drill. Where can people connect with you and listen to the album that will be out now when they're listening?
Yeah, you can find us on all your favorite or least favorite streaming service. I know people have feelings about their streaming services these days, as do we, but unfortunately we're beholden to them a little bit. Hopefully we'll actually have it up on Bandcamp as well. No promises, but we're hoping to be able to do that this go around. Our socials, we are Atta Boy on Instagram and I don't even know where else at this
YouTube.
point. YouTube, yes.
And
We're hoping to have a Discord server up by the time this airs.
Ooh, okay.
So hit us up on socials. We'll should have a link in our bio there. Get that up and running. That'll be exciting. Freddie, what am I missing?
So Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, we are Atta Boy. All of the great, so fun streaming services that Dashel was talking about. Yeah, and our website for tour and merch is weareattaboy.myshopify.com. We're trying to get that to just weareattaboy.com.
It might actually work that way right now.
Oh, give it a shot. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Sweet. All right. Well, thank you again for your time, guys. I know you're probably really busy getting ready for tour, but I love having you guys on, and I'm always super appreciative.
Thanks,
Thanks for
Kayla.
having us.
That's
Yeah, thanks for having us on. It's so nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, you too. I'm glad that you're feeling better.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. I will let you guys go, and I'll send you all my commentary when the album comes out.
Perfect.
Looking forward to it.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, Kayla.
You too.
That's all for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to be linking all of Atta Boy's socials in the description below, so make sure that you go and give him a follow. Silt is available now on all streaming platforms. Make sure that you check that out as well, and let me know what you think in the comments. Atta Boy is also going on tour. I'm going to link their website in the description. If you're in the Austin area, come out to the show and say hello, because I will absolutely be there. Lastly, make sure that you're following the Morning Brew podcast on Spotify, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube so that you don't miss any uploads. Be sure to tune in next time because I have another one of my favorite bands. I am going to be welcoming the band Mac Saturn to the podcast for the first time. Thanks for listening.